Happy Thursday. It's my birthday. Go shorty. It's your birthday. No, I am 51 today, and I am having a very, very quiet day today so far. I've slept in a little bit. I got up, had my coffee, was able to sit and just rest and be quiet. I had a wonderful day yesterday with my family. Went to see my daughter at her house and had our gathering there. And one of my presents I'm wearing right now, my mom got me this, and it is so cozy. And then she got me a blanket that's the Cuddle Duds, but it's got the bottom of it is got a little like a little pouch. So when you sit, you can stick your feet in there, and your feet will stay warm. And I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. So no, my husband's gonna come home in a little bit. Oh gosh, I forgot. He got me this. This came from Goldcasters, and it is real. It is not a cubic zirconium. This is all like I think 24 karat maybe. I don't know for sure, but anyway, it came from Goldcasters. It is legit diamond. So we weren't going to buy anything for each other. That was the deal. He wasn't supposed to buy anything for me, and I didn't buy anything for him because we don't need anything. Like, we just have everything, you know. When you get married, and you're married as long as we have been, and you get to a point in our lives where we don't have children at home anymore, we're pretty well settled financially. You know, not like we're not rich by any means, but if we want something, we go buy it. You know, that's just at that age, and this is what we do. So we don't need anything. So we just decided probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago that we just weren't going to do that. And I thought, well, I'd rather spend money on a vacation. So let's just not buy silly things that we don't need. And then we can just spend our money when we go on vacation. And I'm like, yeah, that seems like a good plan. And I'm going to look like a peeled onion until I get myself together here. But I'm going to talk for a minute. So anyway, he came in because, like I said, I wasn't expecting anything, and he came in and gave me my card, and he said, "Here you go," and I'm like, "Nuh-uh." So I was so surprised, and I felt bad because obviously, you know, we weren't supposed to be getting anything for each other, and I felt bad not giving him anything, but he did good. I don't know if we can see it. It's gonna get really close here. So yeah, he did wonderful. He made a good choice. He knows I don't like real gaudy, like great big heavy pieces of jewelry to wear all the time. Like, see my little earring. I like little dainty because I have little features. I got a big ass, but I got little features. So anyway, I was just going to talk a minute about some of the things that I have learned along the way as far as just how much life can bring so much change in your mind, you know, as far as how you think and how you look at things and how you relate to things and how the lessons that you learn along the way can really be eye-opening, basically. You know, you just learn things that whenever you were, well, I'm just going to speak for myself, okay? For years, I was not at liberty to feel feelings that were inappropriate in other people's eyes. Meaning, like if I felt like the feeling that I had was selfish or about me and how it affected me, I wasn't allowed to feel that because in other words, that made me weak. It made me selfish. It made me small, you know, and I would go for all my whole life. I learned to be strong. I learned to be quiet, and I would always just swallow the feelings that I had to let me shut the door here. I swallow those feelings that hurt me, made me made me angry, make me bitter, make me, because it especially if I felt like it was just, if it wasn't right biblically, meaning if I held any contention towards a person, or if I had any anger or bitterness towards a person. Because when you're Christian, you're supposed to forgive, and you're supposed to let go, and you're supposed to, but you know, that doesn't annihilate the feeling. That doesn't annihilate the feeling that you have. Yes, you're supposed to forgive and you're supposed to move, but it still it doesn't make your heart hurt any less. See what I'm saying? So I was always making it like my feelings don't matter because I'm not supposed to feel this way. Am I making sense? Okay. And so because I thought I wasn't supposed to feel that way because it was wrong, then I never acknowledged the fact that I felt that way. And in respect, we do that a lot. I found out that it kept me from being real, especially with God, because we learn to pray a certain way. We learn to approach God in a certain way. We learn to speak appropriately because he is sovereign and he is holy and he was righteous and he deserves that out of us. But it also says to bring your cares to him. Cast your cares on him because he cares for you. And we can't be fake with God. We can't just pretend that, oh, you know, for instance, just throwing, just an example. Your best friend decided she couldn't be your friend no more because she didn't agree with some personal decisions you were making concerning your family or your marriage or whatever. So she just decided that she couldn't be your friend anymore. Instead of coming to you and saying that to you, she just totally ghosts you, okay? So why can't I be real if that happens to me and say, that hurts me, that breaks my heart, because I am a friend, I am her friend, and I have been her friend forever, for a long, long time, and for her just to treat me like that after I've been such a good friend to her hurts me. But for some reason, we're not supposed to express that. We're not supposed to say, hey, you hurt me. This hurts me. This hurts. What's worse for me is when I see somebody hurting my family. If I see someone hurting my child, and as a mother, I am powerless to do anything about it. And that, when I see someone hurting my child and I am helpless to do anything to protect them, I get angry. I get really, really, really resentful towards the person that's doing it. And I'm tired of pretending that things don't bother me. And that if they do bother me, I'm not allowed to express that because that would make me an imperfect Christian, that I'm just supposed to forgive and let go and blah, 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 whatever. But I feel like a lot of people are stuck because we put on this facade that everything's perfect and everything's great, when deep down our soul is screaming, I just need someone to be real. And I need to be real. I spoke to God this morning on my walk, and I went from speaking to him, and I'm, like I said, I'm not trying to be irreverent, but I went from speaking to him in the proper vernacular and the proper, church lingo, to just like if he was standing right next to me and we're having a conversation, and I spoke to him in my vernacular, in the way that I felt. Some of it wasn't pretty. Some of it was just kind of But you know what? My thing is, and I'm going to tell everybody this. If you don't know, now you're going to know. God already knows you're feeling. He knows what you're feeling behind that. Oh, everything's just fine. No, he knows that behind that, you're hurting. You're angry. You're bitter. You're confused. All this. He knows this. And in our church face, we're just like, oh, bless God, we're just fine. No. And I think he really wants us to do that. I think if you read your Bible there are, like I said, there's scriptures that says, cast your cares upon him. He cares for you. Come boldly to the throne of grace, making your petitions known unto him. How are you going to make your petition known unto him if it's not your petition? If it's what you think he needs to hear, or if you think you're just having to say a specific terminology or whatever? How is he going to hear your petition if you're not saying it the right way, or you're not speaking what it is? Okay? That's where I had like a aha, like revelation in the past couple years, basically probably in the last, I don't know, within the past maybe 18 months to 2 years, that it's okay to feel. It's okay to feel. And whatever it is you're feeling, it's okay to feel that. And I think what it is with me, sometimes you just need validation, not to agree. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to say that I'm right and all that. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone to just say, I feel you. I hear you. And the validation of your true feelings is hard to come by, because sometimes your true feelings make people really uncomfortable. I know it does me, because there again, it depends on the person you're talking to, but if that person's a fixer by nature, they're going to want to try to do something to help you. They're thinking maybe you're coming to them so you can give them an answer. And that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for an answer, because the feelings that I have behind the situation that it's coming from, nobody can fix this but God. I'm just looking for someone to say, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay. Not to, oh, get over it, you know that you're supposed to do. No, because, of all things, I'm not stupid. I know these things. I'm not stupid. It's just in the moment, you just need someone to know, to say that they got your back. That's just really all it boils down to. And in the moment that you're trying to tell God what it is that's upsetting you, you can tell him just exactly what it is. I do. I'm not even kidding you. Even if it's not a correct way to feel biblically. If I'm harboring hate or resentment or hurt or bitterness towards somebody, I'm just going to say that to him. God, XYZ, I don't like them right now. And yes, I know your word says I'm supposed to forgive them. I'm supposed to turn the other cheek. I'm supposed to. But right now, this is my true. I'm not going to lie to God. He knows my heart. He knows my genuine feeling of what I'm going through. How am I going to lie to him? And how am I supposed to expect him to help me if I'm not going to be truthful? Just like us as people, I don't want people lying to me, because we can work with truth. But if you base what you're saying to me on a lie, then we can't work with that. I can't work with half stories, untruths, false half truths, whatever. I can't work with that. I feel like this is such a revelation to me, because I can go to God and be totally transparent. Totally transparent. I don't have to hide what I'm feeling from him. I don't have to hide the fact that maybe, hey, I am human. I'm human. Human beings. He understands my faults and imperfections. He understands, hey, I made you this way. I made you in in your imperfect way, because nobody's perfect, and he knows that. And it's okay to come to him in that way. I mean, it just blows my mind to feel like I can be at liberty to speak to him in a real way. In a real way. Just to go before him and say, look, I'm hurting. I'm angry. I'm confused. You know, and just be real about it. Because the only way it's going to get fixed is if you can acknowledge it. And you can start to, figure out the problem so you can figure out the answer. You're never going to figure out the answer until you get real with what's really the problem. And so that, yeah, I feel like I have taken God out of this box that I had him in so long, to think that I couldn't approach him unless I was in a specific manner. You know what I mean? Like, if I didn't come to him in the way that I was, taught to come to him, that I had to wait. In my mess, I wasn't, in my brain, I wasn't allowed to go to him because I was in a mess. And I heard a message this morning. It's like somebody going to the emergency room and saying, "Oh, I'm fine." It's like, we're going to go to him, but then we're not going to admit our problems and not let. And when we do that, we don't want him. It's not like when we don't admit to him our problems, then he can't help us. Does that make sense? I mean, this is mind blowing to me that I can do this. I can come to him and go, look, this is how I'm feeling, and I am being real. And it hurts me. This hurts me, or this angers me, or this makes me mad, or this person, I can't stand this person because they have did A, B, C, D, and I've seen it affect my, if it hurts my friends or my family, it hurts me. And that turns to anger in me because I don't want people that I love hurting. I can't stand it, and I want to do something about it. And when I can't, it frustrates me. But you know what? It's a beautiful thing to know that God knows that. He knows the situation, and he's just ready to help you, but he's waiting for you to say, look, by your grace and strength, I need you. I can't do this on my own. And this is how I'm feeling right now. This is it. And I know you understand that because you know me. And you made me this way. And it's okay. I really do hope that if I haven't learned anything else, that this is something that I will not ever fail to keep with me, because it's like, he's my friend. Friends should be able to get real with one another and tell each other what it is that it's bothering them, or the feelings that are real. And we shouldn't have to sugarcoat it. We shouldn't have to say, to keep back what it is because we're afraid to say it, or we're afraid to offend them, or afraid that they're going to judge us, or think less of us, or, I'm over what people think of me. I really am. I'm 51 today. Today's my birthday, yay. I'm 51. And I've lived most of my entire life worried about what everybody else thought of me. I always worried about their feelings and worried about, making them happy. And I kept my feelings down. I swallowed my feelings of everything to please everybody else. And I just thought, you know what? I'm not doing this no more. And a couple of years ago, I just decided I'm not going to do that no more. But I've grown since then. When you put up boundaries, you're able to see things a lot clearer. When you put up boundaries, you don't have as many bombarding people. You don't have as many things bombarding you when you put up boundaries. That'll preach. It's like putting up a fence to keep away predators. When you put up that boundary, it's putting up a wall that says you can't go past this point right here. I won't allow you to enter into the thoughts, feelings, circumstances of my life to bombard me anymore. And it's great to be able to do that, because when you do that, you can literally have you have less clutter in your head, and you got time that you can actually process and think about it without all these other, well, I got to do this, so I'm not going to make this one mad, and I don't want this one mad at me, so I can't do that. You know what? Stop worrying about everybody else and just please worry about pleasing God and helping to be a better you. You know what I mean? It's like, if people in your life, if you feel like you have to work to earn people in your life's love, then that's you got the wrong people in your life. But I've done that. I've done it for my whole life, because I never felt like I was worthy of praise, of love, just because I was me. But if you have to work to do that, then that you got it all wrong, and the person that you're doing it for has got it all wrong. But you just, it gives you clarity when you don't have all that. You don't have to make a decision around everybody else. You can make the decision based on what's the best thing for you. Depending on what it is. Is it the best thing for me? Is it the best thing for my family? Is it the best thing for my job? Is it the best thing for my marriage? Is it the best thing for fill in the blank, whatever. And you can be so much liberty and peace and freedom to go, hey, this is just the decision I made based on what's best for me and not everybody else. And you got to let go of what people really think about you, because it doesn't even matter. It really, really, really doesn't matter. In the end, you'll find that your circle of friends is so small, and mine's getting smaller all the time. And, I'm not even mad about it. Actually, it's pretty nice to be peaceful. But, in the end, you're not going to have those people that you were worried about pleasing so badly. They're probably not even going to be there when you need them the most. They're not even going to show up. And I know with me, this is how I've had to heal from other people's opinions. I've had to tell myself there's only two people in this world that matters as far as pleasing them. Yes, I want to please my husband. Yes, I want to please my family. Yes, I want to be a pleasing hairstylist. All that is important to me. But when it really boils down to it, what's really keeping me in a clear conscience and able to lay my head down at night and rest peacefully is obviously one, knowing that God and I are okay together. God's got my back, and I've got to answer to Him in the end and nobody else. But if I can look at myself in the mirror and my conscience is clear, then that's only two people that really matter, really. Because in the end, that's all it's going to be left. When your life ends, that's all that's going to be left is your conscience, your spirit, your soul will go back to God. You will have to answer for all of your actions, your words, all your things that are if you hopefully repent and your sins are going to be forgiven immediately, but for the things that you have not repented of and the idle words that you've spoken, those will all have to be answered for. So, like I said, just if you don't take anything from this other than what I just said, please just understand that you don't have to please everybody else, and you don't have to pretend with God. Isn't that amazing? You don't have to pretend with God. If you're hurting, If your soul is crying, if your heart hurts so bad that all you know how to do is cry, he understands that. And you can be so real with that and just say, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what, the words won't come, but this is how I'm feeling. And whatever made you cry, it's okay to express that. It's okay to make him well aware of, sometimes I cry, I'm mad, obviously. Women do. Sometimes it's out of anger, out of frustration. Most of those times, those are the two things. Frustration and anger are the reasons I cry. Sometimes I cry because I'm overwhelmed. Sometimes I cry because I'm hurt, I'm sad. Sometimes I cry because it's just a release of all the stuff, and it's a cleansing thing. Tears are very cleansing. It takes out all that negative out and it gets rid of it. So there's lots of reasons why, why we cry, but sometimes we don't even know how to express those reasons because we don't know. Women especially, what it is with me, I think of just day after day and situation after situation, and you try to cope and you try to deal, and it's usually that one thing will be added to that. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, but if that one thing happens, it's just like the straw that broke the camel's back. And when that straw breaks, and that particular event that just happened may not in itself have caused you to have the reaction, but because it was added onto everything else, you just snap. And that's when the dam breaks and you have to cry. But it's just hard to explain that whenever you are in it because there's no specific reason. And with men, they want a specific reason, especially your husbands. They ask you, what's wrong? And you don't know. And I mean, if I can help anybody, when your wife's crying and she says she doesn't know, most of the time she doesn't know. All you can do, instead of being the male instinct is to be fixing it, just let her cry. You guys can talk about it later, and maybe she can express it to you later when she's not in that moment of despair. Because when I get in that moment of despair, I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack, and I can't. That's when my brain it stops, and I can't I can't put a coherent thought together. So this is all just so wonderful to me that I've allowed myself to feel what I feel. I've allowed myself to be real with the feelings that I have, and I've allowed myself to come to a conclusion and such a revelation about God that He is okay with that. It's just like me going to if I had a natural father that I was ever close to, which I didn't, but if I would have been able to go to a natural father in a conversation and say, look, Daddy, this is what I feel, and I'm confused, and I'm hurt, and this person did this, and this is why I'm hurting, and he could look at you and be like, you know what, honey, it's okay, because we all go through that. We all go through situations where, those are emotions that we feel. But why do we put him, if we can go to people and do that, why do we put him to where we think we can't do that with him? He wants us to do that. He wants us to come to him. He wants us to do that. Whether you believe that or not, he wants us to. So if I can tell you anything, if I can make you hear anything about what I just said, and I'm going to boil it down, it's okay to feel what you feel. It's not okay to wallow in it, and it's not okay to stay there, but it's okay to talk to God and tell him exactly how you feel, and he understands it. And don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel less of yourself about it. Just be thankful that you have a Father that loves you so much that he's willing to hear you and listen to you, and he wants to help you. He really wants to help you. So you just need to let him help you. And however you have to say it, it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be eloquent, it just has to be what you feel. Because you know what? He knows all, he sees all, he understands all. So you just have to let him help you. And this has made me so happy. And I hope you get it. I hope you can just say, yeah, I can do that. Even if I'm hurt, I can go to him and say, Daddy, I'm hurting. Because whether it be a person that did it or a circumstance, whatever, you can go to him with that and say that to him. And he will hear you and he will help you. So take this with you today. Think on it. And next time you talk to him, just talk to him. And I'm just going to go have me a birthday dinner at the Roadhouse. We're going to go eat some steak and just have a day with my husband on my 51st birthday. Happy birthday to me. I love everybody